simply got overwhelmed. They obviously were unprepared. They were surprised, I think, by this. And I saw video of tons of tear gas being used. I saw people getting tear gas like crazy. And I think there was reports this morning on Twitter that the whole area in front of the Capitol there was covered in that light film that remains after tear gassing. So I don't think they were really pulling punches too much. And I also think that there will be prosecutions. I think that these people were captured on video. There's a lot of talk on Twitter, and everybody is in favor of finding out who they are, applying facial recognition, and bringing charges. So I think there will be a lot of charges, unlike, let's say, the BLM protests this summer. I don't remember anybody getting charged based on video of people rioting or looting. And then I think, the final difference actually with the BLM protests is that if you've watched Fox News at all in the last 24 hours, the condemnation of the storming of the Capitol, of what happened, has been across the board, both right and left. Everybody across the political spectrum has condemned it. Nobody is apologizing for it. Nobody on the right is looking for root causes to explain the reasons why it happened. Everybody is just condemning it and saying that it should never have happened, and the people who did it should be prosecuted. And so I don't see any kid gloves here being used, either physically or rhetorically.
I'll tell you where I see the kid gloves, Sacks, is when you see officers being chased up the steps and or taking selfies, which is one instance. I don't want to just say that's the only indicative thing, but when people are breaking through windows and just kind of being let go, I mean, they were obviously overwhelmed, but I'm surprised more people didn't get shot. Chamath, let's just tackle this head on in terms of the race issue.
But I have a question for David before I make my statement. David, do you think that if this were black and brown people storming the Capitol, would there have been more or less than 4 deaths?
Honestly, I think it would have been the same. I just
disagree. I disagree
on the BLM issue. I just fundamentally don't think that race is the issue here. Chamath, look, I don't know at the end of the day what the fatalities would have been if it had been a BLM protest that went awry. But I will stick to what I said before, which is I predict that you will see more prosecutions come out of this, of the people who are involved. I'm talking about the people who stormed the Capitol, than we saw from all the BLM protests over the summer. I mean, I don't remember any prosecutions coming out of videotape of people being caught recorded looting and rioting. And I predict you will see more here. And again, I think another difference, again, to the extent there's a double standard, I remember a lot of left-wing news networks calling the rioting and looting this summer peaceful protests, which they clearly were not. You even had a book called In Defense of Looting. And I don't hear anybody defending the storming of the Capitol. Nobody on the right. So, to the extent there's a double standard, I don't know that it accrues to the BLM side of this. But look, I think that's kind of beside the point and not the real issue here. I mean, Jason, to your question of, is Trump responsible? Yes. I mean, clearly.
100%.
100%. Yes, because he is the one who put forth this theory that the election was stolen and was constantly repeating it for the last 2 months. 2 months ago, right after the election, there was an article published in The Spectator called "Deplorables Don't Riot." It was actually a pretty good op-ed. It was written by a conservative. And the conservative's point was that all these windows and shops have been boarded up in anticipation of potential rioting and looting with the election. And all these conservatives were saying, well, who are they afraid of? Not us, not the MAGA folks. Well, and the theory was deplorables don't riot. And the right was proud of that 2 months ago. And now we are seeing that, well, no, the deplorables are rioting. Why is that? What changed over the last 2 months? And what changed is the constant feeding to this group of people, this idea, starting with Trump, but then perpetuated by, different right-wing media organizations and other politicians who sort of were, trying to curry favor with Trump. They were constantly pushing forward this idea that the election was stolen, so that these people on the mall who then rioted and stormed the Capitol believed that the election was being stolen from them. So, ultimately that responsibility is Trump's.